Hi everyone, I'm Tracy and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 5 Hakuhodo brushes, and then my bottom 5, my 5 least favorite Hakuhodo brushes. Now I like to pride myself in coming up with my own video ideas, and for the most part they are. But this one is borrowed, and I don't know exactly where it originated. It's been going around for a while, but I've been watching Michelle Wong's top 5 and bottom 5 of like different brands. So I thought I would take this idea and apply it to the brush brands that I have. And today is going to be one of my favorite brands, the brand that I probably have the most of, and that is Hakuhodo. So I'm going to start out with my top 5. So this was really hard to choose because I love so many of them. But and I'm going to insert B-roll where I have them. And some of these I've been talking about so much, so I don't know if some of you are tired about hearing about them. And if I don't have B-roll for this video, I'll link some videos down below where you can see me using them. So I'll start out with one of my longtime favorites. I haven't been using it so much anymore, but it's just such a solid basic brush, and that is the J110. I believe it was, at the time I got it, the B110, but it's now the J110. And this is just one of my favorite types of brushes, a pinched ferrule round blush brush and a pinch ferrule round blush brush. And I think this is good whether you're starting out or if you have a lot of brushes. It's never let me down. It's really well made, and I can't not mention this because it is one of the more fairly priced brushes of the ones I want to talk about if you get it from Fude Japan. And I think anyone that uses blush, bronzer, or powder will enjoy using this one, and this is one I've been talking about a lot, so I'm not going to go on too much, but this is just one of my favorites and one of my first brushes. So that's the J110. And then another one, and this one I don't feel like gets as much attention, and I'm not sure why, because I use this brush for all different types of tasks, bronzer, and I actually have B-roll of me using this with bronzer, but it's also good for powdering and blush, and that is the G6530. Now the Hakuhodo mixed hair brushes, they come in a few different sizes. I have the smaller one, which is the 5-2. I have an eye brush that is this shape with this hair. I have the, God, I can't remember, sorry, the B5521, I forgot the name. And then there's one called the G6540, and this is the next size. And there's one even bigger that I don't have. It's the 103 version. But anyhow, this one I feel like is a perfect medium. It's not too small. I mean, I do like this one for like setting powder and for blush and for highlighter, but I think this one is even more versatile, and I really love the way my bronzer and blush come out when I use this brush. So I think blush and bronzer is probably the best use for this, and this is a recommendation from one of you guys. And it's just, I don't know, I love this type of hair, and I think of all the different sizes, this is probably my most used of the 1, 2, 3 of the 3 I have. And I've been looking at the 6540, but to be honest, if I were to get another one of this shape, I think I would get another one of these. I'm not sure, but I absolutely love this brush, and I think it's very easy to use. So if you're beginning or if you're more advanced, you're gonna find a purpose for this, and it's not gonna let you down. And this hair, I have a whole video about my brushes that have this mix. They're just amazing. there's something about them that just leaves such a beautiful, refined finish. And so I wanted to mention this one. And then the next two are also this mix, but you know, what can I say? These are just, you know, some of my most used, my favorite all-time brushes, not just amongst the Hakuhodo brushes, but like of all time. And the angled one that I picked is the G5544, and I love this for bronzer, and that's pretty much what I use it for. It's on the, it's not that dense. So if you're someone that wants to kind of get a strong application, you might not like this one. But if you like to lightly build up pigment of blush and bronzer, I think you will like this one. It's also good for beginners because it's not going to apply a lot at once. And so it's going to be hard to overdo your blush and bronzer with this, and I just love it. If it's not dense enough for you, you can always use it to powder. You know, it covers a pretty big area. I put mine in a brush guard because I like mine kind of a little bit more compact, because I feel like I could create more definition that way. And then this one comes in a different, a couple other sizes, and I think I have most of them, but this is the one that I reach for the most. So that is the G5544. And then another one, I just talked about this one, is probably my #1 favorite blush brush, and that's the B507. And it's another mixed hair brush. And there's just something so special about the way your blush comes out when I use this. And I have B-roll, and I've been raving about this brush so much. And this is another recommendation from one of you guys, and it's just amazing. It applies blush. I like to pat because I don't like disturbing my makeup in this area. And even without like blending, your blush already looks diffused and blended. It's just so fast, so easy, and foolproof. So that's the B507. I think it's called the G507 now. I got the custom white medium length handle from Fude Japan, so that's why it looks like this. And then I was really torn between including this one or not, because this one does cost a lot for what you're getting. I got this before the price increase. In that case, this is a deal, you know, before the increase. But there's a few reasons I love this one. I'll tell you. It's the B539, and this is made of Kolinsky hair, so you have to get this from Fude Japan or a Japanese retailer. But the reason I picked this one to show you guys is this is the first brush that was this type, these flat like firm, I think they're concealer brushes, but you can also use it for your eyes. I only use it for concealer, and I have a couple more that are not from Hakuhodo, but are this kind of idea, a small like weasel hair brush. I have one from Chikuhodo, which I don't have it on me, but it's the RRS9, and they have an RRS8. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I said that right, but the reason why this brush is so special is because it allowed me to create so many, it allowed me to create different looks. It allowed me, for one, you can use it for concealer, and it saves you a lot of product because you just need the littlest amount to conceal like the eye area or wherever. If you use a fuller, heavier brush, it does soak up a lot of product. And concealer is a product that I use up, so I don't try to use it up quickly. And so it does save a lot of product, and it allows you to be very specific. So you can kind of like create highlights here. You can clean up your eyeshadow. You can even, like, I like to conceal my eyelids because I have like freckles here, and it just fits so well in the eye area. It's also good if you want to put highlighter here, and if you want to, like for me, I lighten up here and here. It's just such an amazing brush. I don't know if I highly recommend it because the Chikuhodo one that I have, is almost as good and is about half the price, but I just love this brush and I've been using it nonstop since I got it. So that's a B539, and I think it's still available. It might not be available in this type of handle. I think it's in the Kokutan handle, but yeah, it's just a beautiful brush, and it's allowed me to like just do my makeup better. It's allowed me to do a lot more things that I wasn't able to before I had a brush like this. Okay, so those are my 5 favorites. Now I'm going to talk about the bottom favorites. Now I'll explain why these are the bottom. I'm going to start off with one that is not, it's not bad in any way. It's not like the worst in any way, but I had to mention this one because there are other less expensive options, brushes out there that are just as good but cost a lot less. And that is the S5555. Now you don't have to get it in the vermilion. I just wanted a vermilion handle, but you can get it in the standard handle, and it's a lot less expensive. But the reason I'm putting this at the bottom is because as far as the brush goes, it's not that unique, and it's not so much different than other brands' dual fiber brushes. It is nice it has that angle so I can get into little, you know, corners right here, and I love having this vermilion handle doing my makeup. But this one is normally in storage, and mainly I don't want it to get messed up. I don't want any of this to chip. And I do like it. It's just, I think for the price of this, you can get, for example, a Chikuhodo, the T11. This one is a lot less expensive and it works almost as well. Rephr has the number 31, which is a lot less expensive, and it works equally as well. And I can go on and on. The Sonergy Fusion brushes, the classic base, I think is, you know, does just as good of a job, if not better, for a lot less money. So that's why I'm putting this one at the bottom. Nothing bad about the brush. It's just that I think of all the different kind of brushes Hakuhodo does really well, this is not one of them. So I had to mention that one. And then these other, these 4, these are some of my very first brushes. So I've had these for a long time. And I'm gonna have to mention this one because of the shedding that I've experienced from the beginning. And I've heard some of you guys say that you've experienced this as well. And that is the J210. And I used this for a long, I think this might have been in my first or second order from Hakuhodo ever. And I used to use it for cream blush, and it was the only cream blush brush that I had. So I didn't know like what it was like to use another brush, so it worked fine for that. I think it's meant for powder. It's a pretty dense brush, but mine has always shed like a lot, and I don't think it's just from the way I used it, but pretty much every time I use it now, see how the hairs are just coming out. And I think also for the cost of this brush now, you can get another brush that will function just as well, if not better, and not shed for less money. So for example, the Sonergy Classic Base or the Mini Base, I would say is much better than this one, and those don't shed. And yeah, I liked it while I had it, but now that I know better, I don't see myself picking this one up again. Okay, and the next 2, I hate to have to say this because they're so cute and they're so traditional, and I love looking at them. I love having them, but I don't like using them. And this would be the number 3 and number 4 spot. And those are my 2 Yachio brushes. Now it's made from the like cane, is cane wrapped. So these are so unique, and these are styled like a very, very traditional Japanese calligraphy brushes, but they shed and the hairs aren't the best, and it's mainly the shedding. Like, see, I can already see hairs coming out. Especially this one will shed. But anyhow, yeah, this one I've always had a problem with the shedding, and I feel like Hakuhodo uses their like Rephr hairs to make these. And it makes sense, these aren't as expensive as their other brushes. So if you're on a budget, I would say it's not a bad option, but they're just, yeah, it's mainly the shedding, and they don't feel as luxurious as the other brushes I have. So that's why I had to mention these. I like having them, but I don't recommend getting these. But some people really, really like them. I just personally don't like this type of brush to use. Okay, so now the last one, and I believe this is one of my first Hakuhodo brushes, and I never liked it. And I know it's very tempting to get this one because I just checked on Fude Japan. It's $41, and that is a very, very good price for a Hakuhodo face brush, especially one with long hairs like this. And I actually think I paid more, but you know, even if it was like 44 or 45, it's very tempting to get this one. But I personally don't. I want to show you guys what I mean. It just doesn't pick up enough. So I haven't used this forever, but I've tried it for blush. I've tried it for bronzer. And this is a pretty pigmented blush. So, I mean, yeah, I can get it to show up, but it's a little big for blush. It can work for bronzer if you're very fair and you like to, you know, little by little build up the pigment. But for me, I have like a medium skin tone, and this just doesn't pick up enough bronzer. So that's my main gripe with this. It actually didn't do such a bad job. Like, I haven't used this one for years, so I kind of forgot why I don't like this one. But yeah, it's not quite small enough as a blush brush. It's better as a bronzer brush, and I do want to show you guys what I'm talking about. This one's shedding too. I can already see the hairs coming out here. So I'm going to use this Patrick Ta bronzer. And this product is pretty pigmented. So, you know, you can use it like this. And it does, for a while I was using it to kind of get like a light dusting of bronzer. And I could use a little color at my face right now. But it just, to me, it just doesn't pick up enough. And I prefer, even for bronzer, I prefer a smaller brush. So yeah, and it's not dense enough for finishing powder. I prefer just a denser brush for finishing powder. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say oh, I'm sorry, this is the K022. And I know some people really love this brush. The hairs are long, the hairs are nice. It's just not dense enough. And I think it's hard to see that online, so I did want to point that out. So, I mean, so like this, the J110, this just feels softer. Like, maybe the hairs in this brush aren't the best, and maybe that's why it costs a lot less. But maybe that's why I just, from when I got it the first time, I just never got the hang of it. But something that this brush showed me is the magic of washing your brush for the first time, especially if it's a long-haired goat hair brush. And this one came so tiny and flat. I mean, it was really flat, really sparse, and I think this was my very first Hakuhodo face brush. I'm not sure. But I remember being so disappointed picking this up because online it looks so much fuller. And then I washed it and it bloomed up beautifully. And there's something about that just was very interesting to me and very captivating to me. So this is one of the brushes that really got me interested in Fude. But as long as I've had this one, I've just never found a task for it. So that's why it's at the bottom. But you know, for the right person, I think this is a great brush to have. If you're very fair and you want to lightly apply bronzer, you know, you might like this. If you like a long, like sparser brush, you might like this one. But now that I'm feeling it, the hairs aren't as soft as this one. Yeah, I mean, I could tell like these hairs are just so much nicer. So that's basically why I put this one at the bottom. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope this helps you guys out a lot. If you guys want to see me do this type of video with other brands, just let me know and I'll be happy to do that for like Sonyaji or Chikuhodo or something like that, a brand that I have a lot of brushes from. So that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.